Salam, this is Joan, and it's my November tape about progress on my prayers, how they influence our own life and the lives of the community. We're going to start with a prayer. It's from Surah 27, ayat or verses 62 to 66. Allah, help us learn to respond to the distressed when they cry out to you. Allah, you guide us in the darkness of land and sea, sending the winds. You give us provisions from the heavens to the earth. You originated creation. O Allah, exalted are you above all authority. So what I'm doing with Fajr, I am consistently practicing charity. I did just now start incorporating it into the Muslim community, trying to. I don't have much exposure to Muslim women and friendships, but I'm hoping that will develop with time. I was raised in a Christian environment. Also, I know we're supposed to awake with Allah in our thoughts, and so I'm finding that sometimes I have a hurried life and a little bit, I get grumpy, so I'm thinking of just being silent in the morning more than anything. As far as doer preventing sin, I'm still working on petitioning for Aaron's Law, which helps elementary school age children know how to handle exposure to sexual abuse if it would happen and who to report it to. It would be mandated into the school system so they would learn it. The Azur prayer, what I'm doing with righteous behavior is I'm trying to raise morality factor, and in that way it was voting, such as the issues that got covered was whether or not to legalize recreational use of pot, and it did fail in Florida. I was surprised because it is being done around me. It's fairly common. I was also asked recently to smoke pot, but I declined it. But it fell short of passing by 4 points, so I was glad to hear that. Also, as far as abortion, it is allowed, but there are now restrictions such as you can't get an abortion after 6 weeks. And in America, it is now banned in 8 states. Then with McRib, as far as seeking help from Islam and the Muslim community, I'm trying to translate the Arabic prayers that I'm learning because I want to make sure I understand them better. And when I used Google Translate, it wasn't matching up with what it said. So I contacted Anna Joy that is from Cairo, Egypt, and she's going to help me do that in an improved way. Here's Isha. Just this verse, how can you make the evening into the morning holy? And I did get a divorce. I was having issues in marriage, and so I also was asked to judge my ex-husband. I did file for that through domestic violence, an injunction paper, and the courts verified that it was violence and didn't let my, at the time, husband, he wasn't supposed to contact me. And so if I would start with the positives that he gave me in my life is that he believes in God. He's the noble type personality. He wanted to help me. I was being picked on for belief, so he got me out of oppression, kind of. And it was around the holidays, so that was helpful. As far as spirituality, he did help me become aware of some Muslim laws, which I mentioned before. His personality is pleasant and charming. Okay, so as far as the negatives, and I would say that our vows said to be loving, respectful, and have mercy. And I didn't feel that the respect factor was what it needed to be, and it was on a piece of paper. He did indicate he was Christian, and at the time I was a Baha'i. So some varying issues. And then as far as it was a situation where they switched people on me that looked similar, and so it was really hard to handle the marriage in a godly way. One person did the vow, and he was often gone. Another person went to purchase a ring with me that looked similar. And a third one did kneeling and said, "That's forever." So that was tough to deal with. And the worst part I thought was, well, it seemed like the honeymoon timing. He blatantly said that he could have any woman he wanted to, and he was going to do that. And he brought her to our home. So that hurt really bad. That was disappointing. And that's what I have to share about judging my ex-husband. And then I was studying. I went over. Also, under voting, there was the category of abortion, which is allowed with restrictions now in Florida, and how it's banned in 8 states. But I was studying crime because I thought I heard that in Tallahassee it wasn't too bad, and I didn't think that sounded right. I read this online. It's by Neighborhood Scout in Tallahassee, Florida. The crime rate here is considerably higher than the national average, yet it is not the highest crime rate of one particular city in the nation. I'm on the Brady team, which has to do with gun control issues, and in 2023, there were 27 homicides. I'm understanding that's the term for planned murder with death. There were 184 total shootings. 67 people were injured. And in 2024, that did improve. It went down to 25 died of shooting incidences, and 45 were injured. I did want to mention, I don't know if I did prior, that I had an AK-47 held to my head, and I wasn't expecting it. I didn't do anything that I was aware of to cause it. I was just walking in a parking lot, and it was so scary that you're afraid to acknowledge it's happening. The person was about 20 feet away from me. I tried to ignore it and hope for the best, and I just walked into the store and it turned out. But that's one of the scariest things you'll ever know. You don't know how to handle it, what to do. You're just trying to breathe. So, that covers everything. I am in a RISE class, which is going to help me economically with information. And on December 12th, we're going to the graduation where there's some media involved, and we're going to meet leadership in the city. I'm making a vision board that tells a little bit about what's happened in my life before the class and what my future story, my hopes and dreams are. And I am starting to get involved with photography. I'm hopeful to have employment through dental or maybe food. If not, I'm just going to channel everything into that photography factor. So that's it for now.